The tax deal we know is done. Next big time on the agenda for the Trump administration is this $1 trillion infrastructure package. Want to bring in former Reagan economist Art Laffer. All right, listen, we'll talk about a couple of things here. First, the economic boost. It's more obvious in the taxes where people are going to see it February 1st. But how does the Republican Party argue for $1 trillion in infrastructure and how that impacts everyone's everyday life?
Well, it depends very much on what the infrastructure is, Charles. If the infrastructure is highways and things that add to productivity, I think it'll be a really easy sell. If the infrastructure is bridges to nowhere, I think it'll be a real problem. But I think Trump and this administration can really focus infrastructure and make it work. And that would be really great. It's got to be a long-term project, though. You don't want to rush infrastructure. You really don't. You want to make sure it's well thought out, done over long periods of time, so it really achieves the objectives it wants to achieve. And then infrastructure can really be a spectacular part of the overall spending program.
Do you like the idea of going at it sort of with this three-prong approach? Federal government ponying up perhaps $200 or $300 billion, state and local ponying up some money, and then there's the private sector getting them involved. Is that the right sort of mix there?
That sounds really cool to me. I mean, to be honest with you, I love public-private partnerships. I really think it's wonderful. I just want to make sure they don't do the structural spending and stuff the same reasons that W did and Obama did to stimulate employment. Infrastructure is not an employment stimulative unless it's really good products that are being built that will really add to value over the long term. Just providing jobs to people who are out there is not a good idea. It's a very bad idea, but providing good infrastructure programs and public-private partnerships, I think, are fantastic. And what the government really is supposed to do, highways, stadia, all of these things are really important.
You know, Art, I went back and I looked at the 1950s, and every year I studied the month-to-month job changes, and the Eisenhower's National Highway Program didn't necessarily stimulate that, but it certainly connected a country that brought us to life.
It sure did.
And that's when we peaked as the world's #1, you know, as the greatest share of the world's GDP.
That was a great, great program that Eisenhower did. In fact, I knew Eisenhower when he was in high school, and he was, no, just joking. But it was a phenomenal program, and it really did hook America together, and it really added to the economic efficiencies of this country. The trucking industry owes a lot to Eisenhower and the advantages we did then. If Trump can do something like that on infrastructure, I think it'd be fantastic for years to come. Our governor did a great job on highways here. It's just phenomenal.
And I think the irony, of course, it was promoted as a military project. I have one for you now, Art, because this is something we thought about you. Spurs head coach Greg Popovich had some very harsh words for wealthy people who don't donate to charity. In fact, here's part of the quote. Because we are rich as hell and we don't need it all and other people need it, and you are a blank if you don't give it. Pretty simple. What's your reaction to that? Are the rich obligated to give back?
You know, I don't think so. I mean, you look at, I think it's wonderful when the rich give to charities. A lot of the 501c3s that you have out there now are not charities. They're just tax dodges. A lot of them are. And so that's what they call charities, but it's not. I mean, when the rich give and they give what they like, it's wonderful. When anyone gives, it's wonderful. And that's what we're all about in this society, is helping our fellow man in any way in which we can. But I don't think anyone should be shamed into giving or screamed at if they don't give.
Of course,
it just doesn't make sense.
We should remind everyone, too, we are by far the most generous country in the world, and we've given in every way
phenomenal as a country.
Possible. Yeah.
And with other countries as well, you know, Charles.
I mean, we give them money, technology, blood, sweat, toil. We've given everything to the rest of the world, you know, for little things, I think. But that's a different topic.
I think we're a great country, and I don't like anyone just shaming people into doing something. That's not the right way to do it.
Neither do I. Art Laffer, you're the best, buddy. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Charles. Good to see you.
And yes, we do have more from that parody video from